Yeah. I think that kind of speaks to what I was saying about you've got to empower your team. It could be a paralegal, but it can be associate attorneys that you hire as your firm is growing. And just because they're attorneys doesn't mean that they know everything that you do. You know, you have perhaps several years of being an attorney in front of them, and so you've got that under your belt, and you may have had hundreds and perhaps thousands of conversations with clients. They might have had a few dozen, and there's just a big difference between a few dozen conversations and hundreds of conversations with clients. You get to understand and anticipate how people are going to react to certain uh, difficult conversations that you have, and I think that's kind of something that I've learned in my practice is I know that it's going to be a hard thing for the client to receive, and so I feel like I'm able to break things more gently to the client, and as a result of that, the client is able to handle the information a little bit better, um, and just kind of give the client space. So, you know, that's I guess that's kind of part of the training, right? Letting people have that experience, but then also giving guidance to your staff about how to handle particular situations. You know, it's kind of hard to believe, but as a small law firm owner myself, it really is about people at this point. For so many years, it's been about just um, getting the work done. But as the law firm is growing, we're trying to figure out how to best lead and empower people to do as good of a job or better than I've done.
Yeah, and that's also a scary thing as an owner, right? When you realize, boy, these guys are a lot smarter than
Yeah.
me, and did I know that much when I came out of school? And, all those kind of that imposter syndrome can really come in to play. And I think you have to look at what you've done and where you've come from and realize that you're setting yourself up to be someone that someone wants to work with, both from a client side and from an employee side. And that's a pretty huge responsibility. But if you didn't exude some level of competence, they wouldn't come work with you. Now, you could find somebody that just needs a job or something like that, I suppose. But for the most part, there's some level of, hey, this firm knows what they're doing, and I want to be a part of what's happening, and that's a good thing. And so, it's a lot of fun. It's not for the faint of heart, as we say a lot of times as well. But making those adjustments and reflections to try to figure out, okay, in 2026, what are some of the things that I want to change to be even better on that? How can I lead better? How can I manage better? How can I provide more services to my clients in a better way?
Yeah.
And so lots of fun to think about all of those things. And I know sometimes that can maybe be overwhelming of when am I going to have time to do all of this? And I think you got to keep in mind that we all have the same number of hours in the day. And I often think about that. I'm like, well, what have I done with my life compared to this person who's had the same number of years and hours in their day, and they seem to be so much more successful or whatever. So, but we have to manage that and be intentional about it. So big admonishment to myself there of don't get so busy that you forget to lead well.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, I appreciate that conversation about leading versus managing. I think we have a lot there that we can reflect on and improve in 2026. And I think that's one of my big focuses for next year is how do we take the next step? What is the next step? How do we get there? What do we need to get there? That kind of thing.
Yep. And don't be afraid to dream.